And so I love sharing first up that my advocacy didn't begin under this administration. It started in 2013 under PNP administration.
Right.
And I was a part of the Jamaica Civil Society Coalition. What brought JAMP to the fore, for most of your listeners who might remember the Outer Many saga of 2014. You remember
Yes.
that one, Colin?
When the NHT
NHT.
bought
Yeah,
out
man.
many.
Yes,
Yes.
sir. Bought an entertainment facility with $180 million while we have hundreds and thousands of squatters. I'm an architect by profession. I worked in the Ministry of Housing, so that did really burn me. So I had actually organized a protest in front of NHT
Hmm.
for 3 days. And at the end of the 3 days, the Prime Minister decided she wouldn't return the board members, which is what we were calling for. The Auditor General of Jamaica went out and audited the NHT, came back, Colin, and told us it's not 180 million, it's $4 billion we should have been worried about. And that is where my journey into creating this organization called JAMP began,
Hmm.
because the experience of watching an auditor general come back to tell the people of Jamaica how our resources were being abused, I thought it was something as citizens we needed to shed more light on for other citizens. And that's why you have me here today. JAMP is an
Yes.
organization, as the name suggests. It says Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal. Let me just tell your listeners, we're not trying to hold government account for everything, Colin. We can't do that. We
Hmm.
don't have enough hands. We are focusing on our public finances. So anything to do with our taxes, that's where we are trying to shed some light to make sure that government stewards our resources better. And last, if you ask me about my organization, a lot of people think all Jeanette does is talk about stuff.
Hmm.
If you go to our website, we have designed and developed 6 tools that help citizens and government to improve accountability in Jamaica. So that's us in short.
All right. So, Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal. You are an advocate. What are the successes that you have had so far?
Well, I consider what I ended on a while ago a success. If you can have citizens build 6 digital tools that help our parliament, help our government, and help the media and citizens to hold government and parliament to account, that in and of itself is a success. And what I mean by that, Colin, and I'll get to another example of the kind I think you're referring to.
Hmm.
When you say to citizens, as many of them are listening now, you need to do something, man. Your money. Most citizens don't know
Yes.
what to do. When you say to them, say, they work for us, or parliamentarians, you are the employer. Employers need information, Colin, and they need access to them employees. Not true?
Of course.
Exactly. And most people don't know how to access the power brokers or a website. Let me give you one example of a tool. Our website, I'm ashamed to say, is the only place in Jamaica, any of your listeners, and you can go and readily find out where is my MP's office? What is his number? What is his email? Now, can you imagine we have employees? We pay rent in those offices, keep the light on, and Colin, there's nowhere you can go on any Jamaican website or PNP, JLP website and know how do I find my elected representative? It's a basic and important thing that see.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, people in the local might can't find it, but if you are from the local and you're coming back, you don't know where to find it.
All people in the local can't find it, Colin. Now people call me. Most people discover Jump because that's what they're looking for. They put the MP name in a Google. They're looking for him. And this is how they find the website. So don't think for a minute that people right here in the constituency know where their offices are across the length and breadth of Jamaica. So I'm just saying to you that that in itself is a success, providing people with direct access to their representatives so that their voices can be heard. A second one is, if you want to talk to your parliament today, Colin, how you reach your parliament, Colin? If what
Most
we're going
people
to
don't
talk
know.
about right now, burning you, how do you let your voice heard? Do you have any idea?
Most people don't know.
All right, so JAMP has a legislative tracker, and the minute you click that button and you go on it, the first thing you see is send a note to Parliament. If you put your concerns there and hit send, straight to the clerk of the House, and it
Oh
will
yeah.
be delivered to the parliamentarians. So I'm not here just to talk today, Colin. When I tell you we're creating tools that bridge the distance or remove the distance between us and those who serve us, that is a practical part of our success that people don't know enough about.
You
But
had a you
mhm.
had a round table
Yes, we did.
media thing earlier this week.
Yes, we did.
Tell us about that. What was that really about?
Well, I don't know how much Jamaicans realize what is the role of the media. We think of them maybe as it's a business and they're making money and they make money through selling news. No.
Mhm.
I'm gonna use an analogy. For those of us who pay attention to world history and world events, when you look at Africa and you look at the coups that take place, do you know the first thing a military commander does when he wants to basically overthrow a government? You know the first step he has to make?
Talk to me.
He has to go straight for the TV station and he has to
Yes.
go straight to where the reporters are and lock it down. Why? Because the media are the eyes and the ears of the people. They are like the watchmen on the walls for you. So the job of the media in any democracy is to watch a government. I am not making something up. That is the first and primary role of the media. You and I can't sit down in a parliament every day, Colin. We have to work. So
Yeah.
who is there minding our business on our side to come back and say, Colin, Jeanette, this is what happened. You need to know this. You need to say something. It's the media. So they are the protectors of the democracy, and they are the ones that first and foremost hold the government to account. So JAMP has been looking at the work of parliament and government as it relates to our money. Why? Why? I'm not there because I want to lock up anybody who is corrupt. I would have been a policeman in a calling. I'm not interested in law enforcement. I am motivated because every day I see the people around us who are in great need, and government is here for one reason and one reason only. It exists to take care of the needs of the society. That's it.
Mhm.
So I decided as a citizen, I used to work in the public sector. I have great respect for what government can do when government decides to do something for people. Radically changes communities and lives. And so I decided that I'm going to put my architecture on hold and we're going to focus on the money. So I called the media together because after a number of years of looking at auditor general reports,
Yes.
I believe that there were some things that the Jamaican people just didn't know. And the best people to call when you want your voice to be heard, next to like Colin, because Colin, I'm sitting here in my home, but you are
Right.
creating an avenue for me to talk to thousands right now. So the
Yes.
media also allows for that. So I called them to a meeting because I thought it was very important that they pay attention to some things that I thought the nation needed to understand about the mismanagement of our public money.
How much money we're talking about now?
Well, it's not 3 trillion, though the headlines have been saying that. We're talking about an examples that I have pulled out. Now, let me back up a bit and say this to your listeners, Colin, because I don't like when people have to listen to something in a vacuum. They appreciate it better if they have some context. And the context is the government has an auditor. The Auditor
Yes.
General of Jamaica is not somebody from foreign coming to fasten up with business. It's the government's auditor. And the government
We
has
pay her.
we
We
pay
pay
her.
her.
Yeah, and guess who created her? The Parliament of Jamaica
So
created that organization.
and she's in the constitution.
Absolutely, one of the most protected roles, positions in the Constitution. You know why? Because if you don't protect this role, politicians come in and get rid of them. Why?
And luckily for Jamaica, we have a good one.
We have a better than good one. We have a no, it better than good in a Colin. I'm say that because I have been on the websites of other Caribbean islands. All know the last report of some countries are 2016. We get one every year on time by December 31st in 2 weeks. That
Mhm.
report to the people of Jamaica will be prepared and submitted to Parliament. Every year without a fail. So, what is the job of this auditor? It is not, Colin, to generate scandals. It is not to accuse a government of impropriety. That's how the media might make it look. The job of the auditor is to come in and say to government, here is where you can improve. I am looking out for you, Parliament, while you are there, and I'm going into the different ministries. You set the budget, you say how much education must get, you create the laws about how education must use the money. You have empowered me to now go and make sure, say, they're not spending more than you gave them. They not take out some money that must go to education and book and school and paying salaries. You follow me? You follow me, Colin?
Following you clear.
Right. Because if government give like Ministry of Health 100 billion a year, you can't just take up 2 billion and redirect it to salaries. And when it happens, the Auditor General goes in and come back to Parliament and say, Parliament, this is what has happened. You have to deal with it. So
Yes.
the Auditor General of Jamaica is there as a partner to the government and the Parliament to let them know when public officials have broken the laws that they set, spent the money in a way they never said, so that the government and Parliament can do something about it for the people. That not sound like a good thing.
That sounds like an excellent thing.
It is.
Excellent.
So what has happened now, Colin, going back to your question about the missing, well, not the missing, the 3 trillion that we're concerned about. Over the years, the Auditor General has reported back to the same Parliament. Remember, they set the laws, our MPs, and they decide on the budget. So she has to go back and give them a report every year. And one of those things that the law says is that every jackman ministry and agency that get you and everybody listening money after the financial year ends, and it ends on the 31st of March every year, the law of the land says these public sector offices must go and tell the Auditor General how them did spend your taxes.
Yes.
And then the Auditor General, Colin, you think the Auditor General can just pick it up and carry it to Parliament? No, sir, somebody have to check it.
Yes.
Exactly, because
Yes.
mistake can be made, and also not just mistake, mischief can be done.
Yes.
Right? So the Auditor General takes a look at all of the financial reports, and she will say to this PS, no PS, this not right. Send it back and fix it. I can't send it to Parliament. So
Right.
or she will say, everything here is accurate and good. I can send it now
Send
to
it
the
off.
people of Jamaica. So what has happened is that over a decade, there are a number of public bodies and entities that has not told the Auditor General what they have done with 1 cent of your money. And I don't know how your listeners feel about it. But when I was growing up, if somebody sent me to the shop and I said, Jeanette, see $100 here, go buy some sugar. When I come from the shop, it's not my money. I have to what? Produce the sugar, produce the receipt, and give the change. No, sir.
I can tell you something. As a little boy, and my mother is here, and 2 of my auntie from abroad.
Yeah.
As a little boy, when my mother used to send me to the shop and give me the list, I used to buy sweetie out of the money. And,
exactly.
And when I come back, I used to get a spanking.
Colin, that's a good example.
Because
I love it.
I spend more than I am supposed to spend.
Exactly.
And after I get beat 2 times, then I try put some math together now. And I say flour raised by 2 cents.
Colin, that I'm going to borrow that example if I have to talk about this again. Because that's exactly what it is. That if somebody not checking, you see what is on the list and what you buy and what change you get. Colin, you know me, you're going to thief out of 50 cents to buy some cheese tricks and something.
Of
no,
course.
I did the same thing.
Or buy stagger back.
Absolutely. So it's the same thing. Now, when a ministry like education has gotten, and hear me well.
Yeah.
$902 billion over 10 years. And never once submit a report to the Auditor General. They have broken the law.
So it's over 10 years. It's not just this administration. It's coming back
right from PNP straight into
PNP
administration. Absolutely. It's not an Andrew Holness look out against thing. It's a problem in the ministry that both administrations should have fixed and then not fix it.
So 10 years. 10 years. We haven't gotten the report. Because these ministry also have internal auditors.
Who should have been raising the red card long before the Auditor General had to, right?
And you're talking about 902 billion, almost a trillion.
That is correct. Almost a trillion.
Almost a $1 trillion.
I don't have a clue how much money that is, but we should tell Jamaica that for for the entire budget of Jamaica this year that will be providing all that we need, pay how much $1 billion in debt, take care of health, police, you name it.
This almost reach it.
The whole budget this year is just 1.3 trillion.
Exactly. So it's only 400,000
Yeah,
million.
Yeah.
Less.
Yeah, correct. So it's a lot of money that we're talking about. So here is my problem.
And
now.
this is the Ministry of Education.
Well, let me give you some of the examples so that your folks know what we're talking about. So for Ministry of Education, it's 9 years, 902 billion.
9 years.
For Ministry of Health and Wellness, we're looking at 10 years, 695 billion. So call it 700, Colin. Now, this one surprised me because the police supposed to be enforcing the law, no, sir?
Yes.
So how the police department to break the law? For the police, it's $152 billion over 3 years.
Billion.
But look who else is there. The Ministry of Finance itself. Yeah, and Colin,
for how many years the police?
The police was, according to the reports, the police is 3 years.
3 years.
But it's a lot, $152 billion, where we don't really know how it's spent.
We just want to get these things right because when we come on a Saturday morning, it's truth we put on the table. Straight truth. So the police is 3 years out, 152 billion. And your Ministry of Finance now?
The Ministry of Finance, there are 3 different types that the Auditor General reported on. She reported on the debt of Jamaica, where we spend the money on the debt, but she need the details.
Yes.
That is over 1 trillion as well.
Over 1 trillion.
Yeah.
Over 1 trillion.
Now, here are the 2 that really surprised me. You want to know which other 2 shocked me?
The Office of the Prime Minister?
The Office of the Prime Minister itself. $12 billion for the last 3 years. We don't know how it was spent.
12 B.
B, my dear, B.
Years.
Yeah, man. And the Parliament of Jamaica itself, $6 billion for the last 5 years.
6 billion.
And I'm going to leave it with this one here. Well, my kind of labor and social security. 53.4 billion, 6 years.
Labor is 63 billion.
53.
53 billion.
And I'll give you one last one now. 6 of our parish councils put together.
And let me just jump and tell the people that Portland Parish Council involved in this.
All right. If you want the details, I'll look for it for you. But 6 of them put together is $10 billion over 11 years.
Parish Council.
Yeah. Right. So I want to make it clear, Colin, that this is not a statement that the money is missing, because everybody know that we've been getting services from the Ministry of Education.
Yes.
The Ministry of Health, they've been using the money. But I'm not going to lie to you. If you have $902 billion and $1 billion is missing, it kind of easy. It kind of easy for 1 billion. If you have 902 and 1 billion is missing, if you don't get those reports, you don't know that so easily, you know. So an example I was using with the media is, you know how people go to the office and they will take things from the office, paper, toilet paper, cleaning supplies. You know that, right?
And then we take a TV too. They will take a computer too.
No, well, you're touching
take a laptop.
No, that's a very serious thing, and I'll get to that. But if I have 1,000 rolls of toilet paper in a cupboard and somebody take 2, you think me gonna notice?
Not right away.
If they take 20, me not gonna notice. Me will only know if the auditor do him job and go in there and count them.
Yes.
And tell me who last had the key, so we know why 20 missing. You follow me?
Let me just say this to the average man in the street. You have a bar. Is when you check your stock.
Right.
You know that the bartender take your money.
Then the
or
same
the bartender bring in rum or cigarette by you.
But how you talk like me, I talk high and above the level of the people. Them are the same thing, me and say, Colin, the toilet paper, the same thing, man.
Yes.
But you can't see it so easy. So what we are really saying is all of the toilet papers could be there.
No, I'm just saying you can't see it until you do the work.
Yes,
if you don't do the work, you can't see it.
That is true, but I also want to make the point that they could all be there.
Yes.
Because we're not saying that anybody thief anything, but we don't know if it is all there until somebody provides the Auditor General with a report and she can double check it for us, which is her
Janet,
job.
We must tell the people of Jamaica that people are getting paid to do
this. You want the list of people? I think it's important that people understand how many people Colin getting paid.
Talk to me.
You started in the right place. First is that internal auditor.
Yes.
That is supposed to be checking on a regular basis, because the Auditor General will probably come once a year, right?
Yes.
Then you have a finance director in charge of all of these places. He is supposed to know that this is what is required, that he must provide a report to him, permanent secretary, every year.
Yes.
But if he doesn't provide it, the permanent secretary know that the finance director supposed to give her a report every year.
Yes.
And don't stop there. I don't know how many people know that we have several, about 14, 15 permanent secretaries, but there is a board of permanent secretaries where permanent secretaries meet on a regular basis. Now, there is a chairman of that board. So that chairman should be looking at these reports and drawing up the permanent secretaries that come to this meeting and say, Miss Bell, why is the Auditor General saying for 2 years, sir, you don't send her a report? You understand, Colin? That's another level of accountability. Do you know who that board is? It's the cabinet secretary for the office of the cabinet. High level